Hey guys, Dan here,
And Frank Godzilla Island.
and we are the Mazer Squad coming at you with episode 19. It's almost at number 20 for this,
Yeah.
and our first Gamera
Yes.
coverage.
And it's our third summer movie review for this year. It's probably going to be our last one. We're just about done with August. We're headed into the fall now, so we'll see what we do next.
Yeah, and I guess we'll just jump right into the news. So yesterday, which this is being recorded on the August 28th, yesterday was the 30th anniversary of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and Hasbro had a bit of a fumble, quite a big one, honestly. They released this shirt. You guys can see it like right next to me. It's kind of awful. It looks like a bootleg shirt, and like the Black Ranger's horns are gold. Like none of the colors are quite right.
The weapons don't look good.
They're all wrong. Everything's wrong. It looks like something that like you'd find at like a flea market, like in the
Back in the
90s.
90s.
Yeah, or like a knockoff toy
does
section or
it does
something.
give you the retro feel, but it's like a retro knockoff feel.
You know, and maybe that's the feel that they were going for, because even in Hasbro's post about this isn't a Power Rangers shirt. This is a Power More Rangers shirt. So, you know, they can't even spell Power Rangers correctly, apparently. I don't know if they were trying to go for like Power Morphing Rangers or what. I guess that's what they were going for. That still doesn't even make any sense. Like you'd use like the hashtag MMPR or Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or something like that. But Power More Rangers.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
And you know, they did drop a somewhat teaser for the Cosmic Fury season coming up. It was just a recap of Dino Fury, really. The Pink Ranger, played by Hunter Deno, is kind of recapping the season to Mick from Ninja Steel. And from what I could tell, there wasn't really any new footage in there besides her talking to Mick for the recap.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's real or not. I believe I did see a photo. Again, I don't know if it was real or if it was photoshopped. The Orange Ranger.
Yes, we do have an Orange Ranger confirmed from all photos just circulating the web.
Like,
so we're getting
again,
orange.
Like these aren't Hasbro announcements; these are leaks.
Yes.
But yeah, they did nothing for the 30th anniversary besides a T-shirt and releasing like a very small hype train for the series that probably should have been released by now.
And once again, you know, it's on Boom Studios to do something awesome, and they're the ones releasing the 30th anniversary comic.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Hasbro. Like, you could have done something. I mean, I felt like, you know, with the Once and Always special, like, that was great. Like, oh, yeah, you're doing something good. You're in the right direction.
Yeah,
And
that's kind of like what I want to get into of it, because we did a 29th anniversary episode last year. It didn't get published by us. We ended up scrapping that episode. One, because we had a lot of life stuff going on at the time. Two, it ended up becoming very, very negative, which kind of like wasn't the vibe that we were going for that show. It kind of, that's just where the conversation went about the franchise. And, you know, Once and Always came out, and we were very, very hopeful. We were like, okay, this is a step in the right direction. All the announcements that they made after Paramorphicon were great. So we were very happy with it. And then it's like the last like 2 months, they've just been like,
we're pulling out of New Zealand. We don't know what the future is.
supposedly a new spinoff with Netflix, but no real super official announcement. Nothing to be seen.
I don't know if we're just being hasty here. Like, is this season of Cosmic Fury at the end of the 10th episode? Are they going to be like, boom, here's a trailer for what's to come? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm also kind of wondering, like I don't know, like, we went to Target. We were talking about the Peg Space last time, and we were like, hey, they kind of just integrated the Cosmic Fury toys into the Dino Fury line, and there was no really big announcement. I went to Target last week, and they just had
there in the wild. And there's not even a lot.
No.
Yeah.
So I went to Target last week, and legitimately 2 pegs is all that they were allotted, and it was just 2 Cobra Kai figures on it. Power Ranger Cobra Kai figures.
Was that in the toy aisle, or was that like by the like pop culture section?
That was in the toy aisle. Pop culture section, nothing. You can get a lot of Godzilla toys there.
Yes. Yeah, Target's kind of taken. It used to be used to only be able to get the Playmate stuff at Walmart, but now I feel like I only see it at Target now. I don't know if Playmates and Walmart had like a falling out or something, or Walmart only really carries the Mario Playmate stuff and the Sonic Playmate stuff. But the few times I don't go to Walmart often, but that I've been there, I haven't seen a single Godzilla figure. I always see them always at Target now.
Yeah. So I don't know what is going on. I don't know if they're just gonna release what they have and recoup and
I really haven't seen a lot of Cosmic Fury toys. All I've seen is the Morpher, and the Zord, I believe, is up for pre-order. I don't know what else they have out there for toys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you would think they'd try to like ramp it up, like, you know, they want to.
It's the 30th anniversary. Like, if you're going to cash in, this is when you're going to cash in, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you're a toy company.
I don't get it. It's a toy company that has almost 0 peg space. They had a bunch of Transformers stuff there.
Are they like really just riding out the Lightning collection? Is that their plan?
I think this is the end of the Lightning collection.
Then that's what we talked about that last. Is Lightning collection over? We don't know.
Yeah. And it's just like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, yeah, we just got the Ninja Turtle movie out, but like you go to Target and they just have like all the old toys. They have new toys that look like the old toys. Like all the packaging's like crazy, immaculate and everything. It's like they could be doing that with Power Rangers, and they just choose not to.
They're absolutely they killed it on the merchandising and marketing for the Ninja Turtle stuff. I mean, it looks like toys from the 90s, the new toys. Like the packaging is fantastic. All the toys look awesome. It looks like what we grew up with almost, but modernized. And it's intended to be targeted towards us because people our age are probably having kids now that are getting into Ninja Turtles when we were kids.
Yeah, so exactly.
That's exactly the intention. It's going to give you the nostalgia, and you're like, oh, my kid's going to love this. It's exactly what I liked.
Yeah. But since we're talking about good merch, the Godzilla store is now in the U.S. It's an online website, and not only is it just like some Japanese products that they've imported and they have in bulk now, but they have like kind of exclusive products just tailored towards the U.S. market there as well.
Yeah, they have like the Super 7 toys there. They have some Ghost X Ghost clothing merchandise, a lot of Metalcropolis, some of like the higher end stuff that's been out there. The Bandai stuff is going to be on there. They had an exclusive Titanosaurus, the Godzilla, a cool Godzilla magnet I'd never seen before, keychains,
guidebooks.
Yeah, those guidebooks for the movies. You know, I was reading. Apparently, those guidebooks they were a lot of people. They were like a hot item to get from Godzilla Japan, and now they have them here in Godzilla US. But people were buying those books and then flipping them on eBay for like quadruple the price. They're only $10. I remember
and 15% off.
And 15%
code
off.
Kaiju.
Yeah, and the keychains looked pretty tempting to me too.
They had a lot of like meme shirts for Godzilla Jr. in Manila.
Yeah,
and they also had like a Godzilla.
The 3 Wolf Godzilla.
Yeah, 3 Wolf Godzilla.
GMK.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I wasn't expecting them to kind of do stuff like that, but
they have some socks. You know, I saw some people were complaining like, I'm kind of underwhelmed by it. I'm like, it's the first day. What do you want them to have?
They had.
You think it's going to be like exclusive central? I mean, I think what they dropped is pretty good, and the pricing is pretty. I thought it was pretty fair.
And on top of that, I mean, I know Toho Kingdom has probably a much better version of this, but on their own website they have a kaiju encyclopedia that you can click on all the monsters and read some bios and tells you the movies that they're in, and then they have a movie section where they tell you where the movies are streaming. You can actually go watch them.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So, you know, they don't have it for every movie because I think it's like, you know, like Biollante you can't really get anywhere.
Yeah.
But they have most movies, they like list like, oh, this is where you can see it. So I was like, this is pretty good. I don't know why you shouldn't complain. This is actually kind of great.
Yeah. No, I think overall everyone's pretty thrilled about the Godzilla store on Godzilla.com. Godzilla.com's been up for a while. It's been up for about, I think, a year or two now. Really nice looking site, and I'm glad that they added the store to it, which I'm thinking we're going to be seeing a lot more exclusives. And what else they had on the site? They had the San Diego Comic-Con Super 7 figure there on the site listed again, and you can get it 15% off, so you can get it pretty cheap. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
$85 plus 15% off.
No, it's a good deal, honestly. So
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna wait till the end of the week, think about what I actually want, and I'll probably put an order in.
Yeah, no, that it was very tempting, especially with the 15% off. Because, dude, like I said, like the Ghost X Go stuff, a lot of times you can't get those like clothing items. You can't really get a discount, and sometimes the shipping is a bit much on them. Like you think, like, all right, it's already a little more of an expensive shirt, and then you get hit with the shipping and the tax, and you're like, this is kind of a lot of money for a shirt. But with the 15% off, I think it's gonna make a big difference. And the shipping is only like $8 on there too. It seemed like it was a flat rate.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I usually like bulk order their pins now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, you same thing with the shipping. I'm like, I'll just bulk order it.
All these sites that have been making like Godzilla like clothing and merch, it's like you're like, oh, all right, it's not bad. It's a nice looking shirt. I'll pay that. And then when you get whacked with the shipping, that's when I'm like,
Yeah, it can get pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But we're recording this on the, what did I say, 28th? It's the 29th actually.
Yeah.
But tomorrow, the 30th, we have Godzilla Rivals versus Space Godzilla. Super excited for this comic. It's a Matt Frank comic, but there is going to be a variant cover by Bob Eggleton. Honestly, both covers are amazing. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough one.
I think I'm picking up both. I'm pretty sure I'm picking up both.
Yeah, I don't know. I think honestly, I'm just probably gonna do digital and then get the trade.
Get the trade paperback.
It's like I want to do it, but it's like, dude, the space is just.
Yeah,
it is so tight.
I have a comic box, and I slowly like retire the comics into there as I read them and review them. Yeah. And I believe there's also going to be a new original kaiju in this Space Godzilla comic.
Really?
Which is, I'm pretty sure if Matt Frank was tweeting out that picture today, I'm pretty sure he had mentioned that there was going to be another kaiju in there.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to wake up, or at least probably stay up till at least 12 o'clock tonight to buy it. So I'll have it to read tomorrow.
Yeah, I could have sworn that there was an original kaiju. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But so with original kaiju, I did just read the Godzilla War for Humanity issue 1 today.
Okay.
And they had the debut of Zoospora. I'm gonna be reviewing that for the channel. I'm really excited about this series. I really hope that this becomes an ongoing series that goes for a while, and it's not going to be just a 5-issue arc. Well, maybe a 5-issue arc for this, but just keep going, because just the human characters right off the bat are like great. The art by I believe I want to say Jake Smith, really good. It's very different, but it works for this comic book. But if you guys haven't read that one yet, I would definitely check that out too, since we're talking about Godzilla comics. And we're going to be reviewing Here There Be Dragons issue 2 later on in this episode as well. Another great series.
Yeah, no, IDW's been doing a great job, honestly.
Yeah.
They're kind of keeping it together right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be coming to the channel soon, maybe after this episode or before this episode, depending on when this episode goes up. But I had also reviewed the final issue of Monster and Protectors, the Summer Smash one-shot special. I was kind of bummed that they were ending that, because I really got into it with the second arc that they did. But now with Here There Be Dragons, and after reading War for Humanity, I'm like, all right, you know what? They're doing a good job. They're putting out a lot of good stories. These one-shots have been killing it. They're all have been really good, in my opinion. So, you know what? As long as we're still getting Godzilla comics, I'm happy.
Yeah, honestly. It's been great. But in other Matt Frank news, they announced from Arrow Video, they did Tremors 1 last year, the deluxe set. Now we're getting Tremors 2 in 4K. There's gonna be it's the same kind of collector's edition packaging as the first one. You're gonna have an anatomical drawing of, oh my god, I forget the name that they use, the
the Shriekers.
I remember the third movie one.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen Tremors 2 actually in quite a while.
Yeah.
I really have to go back and watch that.
I think the original trilogies even the fourth one was good.
The fourth one was okay. I really like the TV show. And I've toyed back and forth. It's available on DVD, and it's $10. I'm always I should just order it, and I don't order it.
Yeah.
It's gonna go out of print, and I'm gonna be so angry.
Yeah. Tremors is just such a good movie series. I mean, like I said, I punched out after the fourth one. I haven't seen the newer ones that they made, and that they were working on bringing a series back, and I know Kevin Bacon was involved, and then it got scrapped. But I think that the Tremors, Arrow's first Tremors release was actually not just last year. I think last year they kind of reprinted it.
Oh, that was the standard edition?
I think it was maybe even 2 years ago.
Because we were doing the podcast. It was one of the first shows that we did that this Tremors thing came out.
Yeah, and then they had the Zavi exclusive version of it too. That might have been
the Steelbook.
Yeah.
But
they're really nice looking sets.
They are. If you want a collector's set, the Arrow Video collections, the limited releases that they do when their videos first start, it's like the definitive edition. You're not really going to get anything better than that. If you just want to wait a little bit longer when those limited editions sell out, they usually do reprint a standard edition. Yeah. They aren't as impressive, but they do have the content there.
Yeah.
So, it's a big set, and I love Tremors, but I don't know if I'm willing to dedicate that space to Tremors. So I might still wait for the standard edition.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Daimajin set and the Yokai Monster set. There's nothing. They're never. I don't think it's as big as the Gamera set is. The Gamera set's huge.
No. I actually have it right behind me over here.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous
Gamera
set. Yeah.
But if I was willing to dedicate them, or if it was a trilogy box set, I would probably get the limited edition of that. If it was the full trilogy. But it just being the one movie, it still seems like a rather large packaging for one movie, in my opinion. So
there's a lot of goodies in there, the posters and stuff.
Yeah, I'm probably going to end up waiting for the standard. But if you are a collector, movie collectors, they go crazy for Arrow Video. They are the best sets that you can get. You can go to Diabolical DVD. They have the set available for pre-order now. If you pre-order directly from Arrow Video, they have the exclusive coloration that matches the original Tremors limited edition set. So if you want the same colors, you can order it from Arrow Video. If you want the new color, which is a green, you can order that from Arrow Video, Diabolical DVD, probably Zavi, if I had to guess. But yeah, those are the places that I would go to order this.
Diabolic.
Oh, it is Diabolic. I don't know why I keep saying Diabolical. It's Diabolic DVD.
With a K. We'll post
I'll have links down below, and we're going to have pictures of all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be in 4K for the first time, and, it's got Reba McEntire, and she's just a single mom who works 2 jobs and loves her kids. And
is she in that one, or she was only in the first one?
I think she's in the first trilogy, if I'm remembering correctly.
I thought she was only in the first movie.
Is she only in the first one?
I think she's only in the first movie. I think Burt gets divorced.
Burt gets divorced, or
I don't know. I don't really remember, honestly. It's been years since I've seen.
I don't know why I thought she was in the whole trilogy.
They might be worth doing some reviews on for this.
Honestly, probably.
Yeah.
Oh man, But in other 4K news, we also have Godzilla 98 in 4K, but it's the special. Is it 25th anniversary?
25th anniversary.
25th anniversary release.
There's not really much details on it. I mean, I have this steelbook. Was this 4K? Yeah, this is 4K.
You did get the 4K version.
Yeah. This is the 4K version, 2 discs.
I have the import European 4K just standard edition, not the steelbook. I don't know. I might do the upgrade. If it's the same special features, I'm going to have to debate whether or not I want to do the upgrade.
They haven't really given any details on what's included with it yet. I saw ComingSoon.net covered it yesterday or today. I thought they were going to have some info on it.
Yeah.
There really hasn't been any info released on it yet. I believe it's dropping October... I forgot what it was. It's sometime in October it's dropping. I want to say it's October 23rd. It's dropping. And no details yet. Maybe within the next couple of weeks we'll get some more info on that. We'll update you guys on it for sure.
If it's just a re-release of the same disc, I'm probably not gonna upgrade unless there's like some crazy sale or it's really cheap. It looks amazing, but I already own it on 4K. Like I don't really know if I need the steelbook.
And it doesn't sound like it's particularly exclusive to anywhere particular yet. I know like sometimes Best Buy has the steelbook exclusives, FYE has their steelbook exclusives. It might just be like a general release, and it's October, we're gonna be heading into the holiday season. I'm sure Target's gonna be doing their buy two get one free on movies, DVDs, and stuff. That'll probably be the time to pick it up.
If I get like a good deal like that, I'll probably upgrade and sell my other copy. But while it does look really nice, I don't know if I particularly I need this. Yeah. So we'll see.
Unless you're like a collector where you're like, I need each version. Like, I think I have like 3 different versions of King Kong vs. Godzilla. I have the FYE Steelbook, I have the DVD, and then the non-Steelbook Blu-ray.
Yeah, I have...
The FYE Steelbook is like an amazing secret for this, I feel like. I mean, it's a nice-looking Steelbook.
It's very nice. And
it's really cheap, too. I don't know if they're still available.
I got mine secondhand, I think, for like $15.
Yeah.
And I already owned the Criterion Collection. I just bought it because it was nice.
So I own 4 copies of that movie.
In very, very brief 4K news, just a quick plug. Vinegar Syndrome does have the Gorgo 4K. The slipcover version, this one, the very, very nice with the Matt Frank art, the slipcover, and the steelbook, they still have them in stock. So if you're a collector and you want the slipcover version of this, it's available, and Vinegar Syndrome is having a summer sale, so it's actually like 20 something bucks for this.
That's a steal. It's an absolutely gorgeous set.
The hard cardboard cover, right? You get the slip cover of Gorgo Underwater and the regular 4K.
And it's reversible.
Yeah, reversible art with the original poster on it.
I shot the unboxing for this, and I didn't realize the cover was reversed because of the black box inside.
The spine.
Like, if I was able to see through, I would have been like, oh.
Yeah. So I would be jumping on that right now.
Hell yeah.
I am currently working on a video where this has a Blu-ray on it as well. I'm going to be doing a Blu-ray comparison, 4K comparison, and original Blu-ray comparison of all 3 versions of the film. I'll have all the footage side by side so you guys can see. Early for the money, I would get this one so far. NVD did a good job with this. And they actually show the work that they did to restore this movie and get rid of all the green water. One thing that is not being talked about on this Blu-ray release, which I feel like nobody is mentioning, is there is a Gorgo short film that is on the Blu-ray. It doesn't have Gorgo in it, but it's basically the British government talking about the events of Gorgo in the past, and like basically like this is like the organization that's set up to cover it up. I think they were probably trying to position to get a sequel movie made, and it didn't happen. But it's a cool little 15-minute watch of just three people in the room talking about the movie, like, oh, we're doing this to cover it up type of thing. Like gives me like that like Cloverfield behind the scenes stuff where there's like Tag Roato is like covering up all the Cloverfield incidents.
I did see it mentioned like in the extras, but I honestly I haven't got to dig into my copy yet. I literally unboxed it and I have not had a chance to really do anything with it. That I definitely want to check out. Then that's really cool.
Yeah,
And then we have PSR Books has been releasing the comic books which served as sequels, but now Titan Creations they're working on a comic sequel themselves.
yeah,
So I wonder if they would continue off of that or something. They have the Soul War series. I'm curious if the monsters are going to tie in with it. They have teased that they can cross over.
yes,
And it sounds like they're on the hunt for getting the Reptilicus rights. So we'll see.
yeah. We'll see what ends up happening. It's an interesting time for Gorgo. I feel like with the figure coming out, it's like a big kind of like push for this series.
Yeah. I think it's well deserved. I think it's one of the earliest reviewed movies that we did on here, and it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. It's definitely like I feel like a lot of people know Gorgo, but it's like, oh, it's that Godzilla ripoff movie.
Yeah.
The initial forming of the podcast was like, hey, there's so many good kaiju movies out there that people like kind of poo-poo. Like we should be talking about this stuff. That's why we've only done 2 Godzilla reviews in 2 years.
Yeah. This is our first camera review.
Yeah, like we're trying to do more obscure-ish movies.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to move on to Indiegogo / Kickstarter / crowdfunding news.
Yeah.
We'll start this.
Since we're on movies, and we're talking about indie movies out there, we are big SRS supporters here. And one of their latest projects, it's a Indiegogo, is the Kaiju Glam Metal Shark Attack. It's a mouthful, that movie title, and it sounds absolutely insane. But it sounds pretty fun. It sounds like a fun movie, but they've been funded. They hit a stretch goal, and the first stretch goal is that it's going to include this short film from 1973 called The Giant Brine Shrimp. I believe the full title is The Giant Brine Shrimp Attacks Salt Lake City. It's like a Utah like cult classic film. It's never been released on physical media. I'm not too sure on the details if they are remastering it or not. It's a stop motion film. The brine shrimp design looks like a giant brine shrimp. It's pretty cool for probably what was a very budget movie in the 70s. But it looks campy, but I'm kind of curious to see if they do some sort of remastering it. And it's just to have that on physical media for the first time ever.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. And the Kaiju Glam Rock thing sounds absolutely insane, but it sounds like it's going to be fun because, these SRS movies have a lot of spirit in them. So I definitely want to check that one out.
I'm very excited. This seems to be SRS's new model. Like they seem to really want to fund their own movies or fund projects that they're interested in. So they've been doing a lot of these Indiegogo ones. This is the first one that kind of crossed over into the kaiju genre, which is maybe why it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's picking up pretty good. Not that the shark movie genre needs help, but I feel like it's grabbing both communities to kind of support it. I'm interested in that special feature.
Yeah, and part of like this whole Indiegogo and like them doing crowdfunding instead of just being like, all right, let's make the movie and print it. Like the Indiegogo is not to completely fund the movie at all. Like they have a budget for this movie already. It's to kind of like further it, improve quality, add features such as adding on this short film to it. It helps better the product that they're putting out by
It
doing it
does.
this way.
Yeah, SRS really seems to keep their Blu-rays at like a premium tier, and then this movie will probably end up getting like a Walmart DVD release.
Yes.
So like
Yeah.
they're not making like right now the campaign's at $5.5 grand. They're not making a movie off of $5.5 grand. You know, like
Yeah.
that's not the budget for the movie.
They even say it in the description that like this isn't to fund the movie. It's kind of like to better it, and they could put a little more production into it. They could put out a better product.
Yeah.
A lot of with the SRS releases, the sooner you get them, like if you get the initial release from their site, you're getting the better quality. That's like the top notch. And as it comes out, like you said, they release the Walmart version. They release like a basic Blu-ray version.
Yeah, they release a
Different type of
DVD
cover
down the
arts.
road
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
So it's always good to jump in on top if you're interested in one of their projects, to always
Yeah.
get it, always pre-order it, because you
And
never know
always
when they
take care
sell
of you,
out.
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They really take care of you. Ron Bach does a great job. He's always including the posters with it. He's bookmarks they did for Space Monster Wang Manghui, bookmarks and all that good stuff. He's even from way back. He was always throwing random goodies in with the Blu-ray purchases,
Yeah.
stickers, whatnot. But yeah,
Yeah. And I guess in other Kickstarter news, we have the Inferno Girl Red Volume 2 Kickstarter
yeah.
live, which it's the same thing as like the Monsterverse Kickstarters. Like these comics already exist. This is just to build up marketing
No,
hype.
this the Infernal Girl Red Volume 2 is actually completely new.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so 2 years ago they did Inferno Girl Volume 1, and we only just got them as individual comics from Image Comics, like just this past spring, and then they released the trade paperback in July, which is basically what the Kickstarter was way back then. So if you do the Kickstarter, you're getting first access to Volume 2. I don't know when the comics will be released. So it was almost 2 years from when they did the Kickstarter for Volume 1. So if you read Volume 1 or you picked up the trade paperback at Target since it released last month and you really want to read more of it, this is probably the best way to get the further story. It's 150 pages, I believe, this volume,
Yeah.
which is basically 5 comics. I think it's maybe 125, so you figure 25 pages per comic. But yeah, the Massiveverse is absolutely killing it. I think Image is really doing a good job with this. You got Kyle Higgins that is the director of of Radiant Black and just basically of Massiveverse. Matt Groom is the writer for this. He's worked on the Ultraman Marvel series, the Power Ranger comics.
They've both worked on the Power Rangers comics,
as well as Kyle Higgins and Erica Durso. She's doing the art for this. They have a fantastic team. I think this Massiveverse is gonna be really big. I mean, it is already really big. Thousands of followers, readers, and it's a Toku themed series across. They have Rogue Sun out. They started with Radiant Black. They have Radiant Pink, Red. No One is one of the latest ones going. I think they have like a audio like podcast that kind of like is like a companion to it. I think Patton Oswalt's on that.
Really?
Yes, I believe so. They have done a really good job. Rogue Sun looks good. The Dead Lucky. There's so many spin-off series. I have a couple of the trade paperbacks right now. I picked up most of the Radiant Blacks. I've really been saying I want to get into it, and I am going to just have a backlog. But with all the shortcomings of the Power Rangers right now, the way Hasbro's handling them. I would not be surprised if something in the Massiverse started getting a series or something on TV, an animated series. It's Image Comics. Robert Kirkman works with them. He's responsible for The Walking Dead, Invincible. I could see us getting a Massiverse animated series. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
it's had rave reviews. I see so much art about it. I've glanced through my Radiant Black trade paperbacks, and I'm like, I gotta read these. It's just looks like such a like big focal point right now for Toku fans here in the States.
yeah, no, it's definitely channels like that Power Ranger style. At least like like, I don't know, because when I got back at the Power Rangers, like Boom Studios was like at its height, Hyperforce was going. Like it was like oh, these are the things that are keeping the franchise alive. Yeah, they had the TV show, but everyone was like, it was the Neo Saban era, so everyone was just like, oh, they're doing like the stupid like super seasons and all that stuff. And then when they left to go do Radiant Black, it like definitely like got like the attention of that same fan base. They're like, oh, like this is what we were looking for. You guys were already doing a great job with Power Rangers, and then you're like, oh, like this is where you want this to go. Well, we're gonna do our own series and give you the content that we're not allowed to give you.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, I've heard nothing but great things about it. So it's absolutely. My goal is to get through these Radiant Black trade paperbacks and start reviewing them for this channel very soon. I'm really excited to read them. It's just, I have a backlog, and time has been a challenge this summer. We've pretty much took a 1 month break here.
Yeah,
on the
essentially.
channel, so over a month.
Yeah,
but we're back.
Yeah, I mean between vacations and trips and having some
Life.
production complications, honestly.
Yeah.
Like we're getting it sorted out though, so we should be pumping more stuff out more consistently. I think we're definitely getting a groove back.
Yeah, we have a lot of things recorded in the tank that are going to be hitting the channel, but yeah. Inferno Girl Red Volume 2. Like I said, if you want to continue reading it, if you're already a fan of the Massiverse and you've read Inferno Girl Red Volume 1 already, and you don't want to wait, the Kickstarter is the way to go for it. And if you haven't gotten into it at all, you can pick up both versions on the Kickstarter. They are hardcover versions too, so they're not trade paperbacks. They're like hardcover solid books. They're going to cost you a pinch more money, but you can pick up the trade paperback for Volume 1 now if you want, and then get on Volume 2 right now with the Kickstarter. We have a good length of time before this Kickstarter is over, so you get in on that action. And the next crowdfunding thing that we want to talk about is Kaijus and Cowboys Volume 3. Not Volume 3, Issue 3 on Kickstarter right now from our friends of the channel, Frankie B. Washington, Matt Blair, and we read issue 2. Did you read issue 2?
We're covering it today. That's gonna be the next review.
We're gonna be covering that right after this, but awesome project and cool little add-on that got announced this week because I'm a backer of the Ultraman Series 1 and 2 Kickstarter campaign for the trading cards. Richard Parks is including uncut sheets with Kaijus and Cowboys Issue 3. Sorry, guys, I don't know why I keep seeing Volume 3. But yeah, that's a cool little add-on that every backer is going to get is some Ultraman trading cards. But yeah, Issue 2, I really enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to. We're going to cover that in a little right here.
So the Issue 3 Kickstarter, just want to also mention it's 2/3 of the way funded. Goal is $3,000. I don't think that they've announced any stretch goals yet. Probably once it gets funded, they might announce more stretch goals.
Yeah.
It's a little different the way they structured this one compared to the last one. There's a lot more a la carte this time.
Yes.
So
yeah.
you can basically get whatever you want.
Yeah, if you're new to the campaign, if you're new to the series, I highly recommend picking up all the issues and reading them. Get digital if you want. If you want to dip your toes, if you don't want to get the physicals just yet, get the digital. It'll help. Whatever you can do to help fund this. We're two. You said we're 2/3 of the way there, so I'm pretty optimistic that it's going to get funded.
Yeah, I'm getting the physical, the digital, and then I'm also getting the digital of issue 2 because I forgot to pick that up on the last campaign. So I'm picking that up on this one, and then I don't know. Like I thought I got the patches when I backed last time, but I didn't. I was the tier underneath the patches, so I might add the patches on this time.
Yeah, I got the patches. It's really cool.
Yeah, so I'm still like tabulating like exactly what I want to get.
And I always like the stickers and cards, but I don't think there's any new cards for this round.
That's what I'm thinking. It might be maybe it's a stretch goal. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I think they were a stretch goal previously. When they were on Zoop, I think the cards might have been a stretch goal. I don't remember.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. I'm excited for it. And
then one more crowdfunding campaign before we get into our reviews here is Territory will be launching. I don't know if the show will be up. It might be up by then. September 6th. We're right now recording this. We're a week away basically.
I'm going to try to get this up by September 1st, or if not the 1st, the 2nd.
Yeah. So Territory issue 4 from our good buddy Blake McCarthy will be dropping September 6th on Kickstarter. The campaign's very close to hitting 100
followers
for the pre-launch. So he said that once that 100th backer follows for pre-launch, he's going to be showing the final cover by the new artist Donnie. And it looks really cool. He gave a little hint teaser. Who knows? They might have hit 100 now. It was just a little while ago. They were only 2 backers away.
Yeah, I'm like, it already looks amazing. Like what they showed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't even know what we're gonna be getting. It's just like, I'm gonna be so torn on what cover to get. I'm already invested into the Neon collection, but maybe if I get the digital, I'll get the regular cover too.
Yeah, I think there is a. I don't know if the goal got hit. I think if they hit 100, Blake was going to put a early bird Neon bundle for a discounted price. So if everybody's new to Territory, I would highly recommend that bundle and follow for pre-launch.
Yeah, Mars Attack does a really good job with the Neon covers.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the line that I'm collecting. But he does a lot of different variant covers, and there's something for everybody. It's definitely going to be a campaign to keep your eye on, and I'm sure it's going to like get funded very quickly.
Yeah.
Because
it's going to be the 4th issue. A lot of you just gather more backers each time. So
yeah, and I think that's like the advantage. I feel like to Kickstarter is you're on that platform. There's already a built-in community of comic backers there that are looking for the like specific type of comic, and then once they follow that comic, they get the notifications and the communications just really well.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting this to be a huge success.
Me too. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna kick it off with the reviews. What did you want to?
I guess we'll get into. We'll do our usual. We'll go into comics first, and then we'll cover TV shows. So
sure.
We'll do Kaijus and Cowboys since
right.
we're on the topic.
Issue,
we're on the topic of indie.
Issue 2 review of Kaijus and Cowboys. Honestly, this issue went places I was not expecting.
No, yeah, I didn't see
Really?
a whole like hunter squad coming out of nowhere. I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is
And the funny thing was, I was actually wondering because, like, so the issue starts, he starts talking with Father Mind, which I guess is like a computer up in space that's kind of monitoring the setup of this planet for human life. So, like, while I was talking with him, I'm like, because we get to reveal that he's bot 001.
yeah.
So I'm like, if he's the first one, I'm like, did other bots get wiped out? Is he the last one around? Well, we quickly find out that there are a team of bots that he's just dispatched, but he's like, oh, these are brand new models. I don't know if they're going to be able to handle this. They don't have your experience. Can you just keep an eye on them?
Yeah, he was just his mission was to basically watch from a distance and assist if needed. Like, so he dispatched these three new bots, and they're basically going into a what was it a nest, a breeding ground.
It was a breeding ground.
Yeah, it was a breeding ground. So the three go there, and he's watching from a distance. They seem like they're handling it pretty well, but Hunterbot jumps into action, of course, and takes out some of the kaiju. And they're like, "Oh, thanks for helping us." And he doesn't talk, and some of the robots are kind of like snotty to him. And they're like, "Dude, the guy just saved us." He's like, "We might not have been able to successfully complete this mission without this." I don't know what they called him, like a old school bot. We couldn't
He's an
do it
old
without
model.
him. Yeah,
His old
he's like,
programming.
yeah, his program. Yeah, that's part of one of the things too. Fatherbot says like, "Oh, we don't know how you're still out there because your software is so out of date." Like he's like so not updated on anything. But we forgot to mention Doc was like, "Oh, can I come along?" And he's like basically dragged Doc with him the whole time too.
Yeah, like he's like Bot with No Name basically gave him like, I'm the main character energy. You're just along for the ride.
Yeah, he's just like he was kind of like, but Hunterbot doesn't talk, so
Yeah. So at the end, a probe droid comes back crashing down to the ground. Bot with No Name plugs in, instantly flies off, and he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" So Doc plugs in, and he sees, basically, they've been noticing more seismic activity.
They were assuming it was just earthquakes.
They're not on the planet right now. They're on a kaiju that's on the planet. So next issue we're getting probably a giant kaiju fight. I don't even know what to expect now.
Yeah,
like I thought I knew where this series was going after the end of issue 1, and now I'm like, oh wait, what's going on here?
This thing's massive.
Yeah, I'm like
I don't even know how he's gonna fight it. Is he gonna go like Jet Jaguar, get like gigantic?
He's going to learn how to get bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, the Hunterbot gives me Jet Jaguar vibes because he doesn't talk.
He does. Now with this review, we went over some key points. We really didn't get into the deep nitty gritty. You guys should go check out the campaign for the 3rd issue that is live now. You can get the whole series back from the beginning and really catch up. There's a lot of visual action going on in these pages, so us going over plot points doesn't give you the full picture of what's going on here.
These books are, like I said, he doesn't talk, so there's not a lot of dialogue to be had. It's a lot of like computer programs talking in his head. Doc is sort of the verbalness of this series, and we have these new Hunterbots. They talk, but it's a lot of action. It's nonstop action, really. It's a very visual series. I've often compared it to the Redman series because the Redman series they did a comic series, they did a TV series, but no dialogue. It was just boom, kaiju fighting nonstop, and it gives you very similar dark vibes.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for issue 3, and I felt like the Kickstarter kind of. I know they probably announced that it was coming out in the middle of August, but this summer has gone by so quickly that I was kind of like, oh, it's live.
Yeah, and it was like perfectly timed. Like I think I got issue 2 like the day before the
Yes.
campaign went live for issue 2.
Yeah,
They timed it perfectly.
they really
So you
did.
read it and you're like, oh man, what happens next? Oh, boom, Kickstarter's live. You can find out what happens next.
Yeah. So,
And it's a I believe it's a 12 issue run that they have planned. So check it out. We have reviews of issue 0, 1, and now this is issue 2, as well as some unboxings for this too. So
yeah.
we have a Kaijus and Cowboys playlist, I think, on the channel.
We might, if
I
not,
started making some playlists. I believe it's on
yeah.
there. Keep
Um,
an eye out.
well, honestly, what I'm looking forward to with this series is we're going to be getting like a second issue 0 coming out. There's some issue with the printing, but we should be getting it relatively soon. If we got like a third issue 0, like maybe that could be a stretch goal for the next campaign or something. That'd be great. But we'll see. I don't know what they have planned for this series.
Yeah.
I thought I did, and then it went completely sideways. So
It's awesome though.
yeah, I just got taken for a ride on that read.
The super giant kaiju was a big twist.
Yes.
I didn't see that coming. I expected a bigger kaiju, but this thing sounds freaking massive.
Yeah, it's like Godzilla Earth size, but bigger.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
Yeah.
it's like the size of like land.
They said it was basically like they thought they were like on like just like in a volcano, but like the volcano was like on top of a kaiju, like
Yeah.
craziness.
So we'll see. Shout out to Frankie B. Washington and Matt Blair. You guys did a great job, and we're looking forward to read the next issue of this. Yeah. So, but I guess speaking of the next issues of things, we have Godzilla: Here There Be Dragons, issue number 2. Yeah, a really good read, really quick.
Yeah, I felt like this one was. Yeah, I felt like this one was much quicker. I felt like there was a lot of like action going on. Continued back, we have Henry Hull is in jail, retelling these events of Sir Francis Drake's expedition to Monster Island. Last we left off, they were being chased by the Spanish Armada, and they got swept up in the storm and washed up on Monster Island, and they thought they were alone, but Godzilla rose from the ocean. And then, as we see in this issue, the Spanish Armada made it through the storm as well. So Francis Drake was smart enough not to attack Godzilla. He's like, yo, don't do this.
Yeah, he's like,
And
just sail on by.
Henry Hull was ready to fire his cannon at Godzilla, but Sir Francis Drake was like, nope, let's leave him alone. And then the Spanish Armada showed up, and they didn't think twice about it. They fired cannons at Godzilla, and all they did was piss him off. And Godzilla just blazed through the Spanish Armada and sent the entire fleet to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, it was honestly, that was like one of the coolest things. I'll probably have it up on screen right now. It was just a really cool shot, and I was like, "Oh wow, they really
just torches them."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really cool. So they end up he's gone for the rest of the issue after that.
Yeah, he's gone for the rest of the issue. They go on land, and they cuts back to the jail cell after he tells that part of the story, and like the guard and like I don't know who he is, the chief in charge.
Yeah, the two guys.
It's just like you want us to believe that a giant dragon took out the entire Spanish Armada. They're like, you're really full of it now, and they're like, oh, but they're like, who was it that they said what saint slayed the dragon? Yeah, they're like Saint George slayed the dragon, and so you're saying you don't believe in the dragon? What kind of Catholic are you? And the guy's like, oh, you got a point, I guess. We got to be faithful that maybe I do believe in dragons. So then it cuts back to the story. They go on land to kind of go a little further on land to see what it's about. They discover
giant sea turtles.
yeah, giant sea turtles come like I don't know if they're baby turtles.
They
They're
look
all
like baby
swollen.
turtles that are like
They're,
rushing the beach, like like when
yeah,
turtles are
they're
born.
rushing, like they're just hatching. Yeah, they're rushing out to the ocean. Uh, and then they find Yane's ship on the island, and they go through. He had a whole journal on board, and then they go outside. Night falls, and the crew begins getting picked off, and we see it zooms out, and there's just these giant bats just picking off all of Sir Francis Drake's crew, and then we kind of get a cut back to Henry Hull's cell, and they're kind of being like, now we got giant bats now, and they're kind of getting frustrated with him, and they're like, you're making up this story now. And he kind of brings up the Queen's name again, which they said don't bring up the Queen.
Yeah, because he's
Don't-
like, it's a giant conspiracy. Everybody's trying to cover this up. They all know about it.
Yeah. And then they're like, don't besmirch the Queen like that. They're like, that's it. You're getting hung. So they drag him out of the cell, and he's getting pulled to the gallows. And it's not looking good for Henry Hall. And that's basically where it ends. He seemed very confident in the first issue that he's not going to be executed and hung.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's coming. I don't know if we're going to have a Pirates of the Caribbean style jailbreak, or if Godzilla's going to attack the prison and Henry Hull's going to escape in the chaos. I don't know what's coming next.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to see what happens next. What the bats kind of really threw me back to like the Dark Horse. And they have that cover of Godzilla fighting the bat. Like it just kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a cool series. Again, I really like the art. I'm kind of interested to see like where this is going, what it's building to. Because we're 2 issues in, and we still don't quite know like what's going on exactly. Like what's going on with Monster Island.
Yeah. They're there to get the treasure that was hidden on the island, but do they get away with the treasure? Is there something else going on with the island? I'm really curious to see where that goes. If we're going to see some different monsters.
It would be really cool. I know that it's not going to happen because it's like this is like probably like such a niche series, but if we got like an actual like print copy of like the Gaines journal and just
telling the story of Monster Island.
Yeah, like tell cool. Like living on Monster Island, like what it's like his interactions with Godzilla and the other monsters. Yeah. That would be a cool book. Honestly, that's like an idea for a book.
If they're gonna delve into that, like into the series more, what's in the journal. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
the journal, a pirate's journal on Monster Island. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
I feel like that's like a cool idea for a book.
Yeah, this series is really cool. I really like the whole setting of it, the Pirates of the Caribbean style vibe. It's really fun. It's definitely a fun series. I'm looking forward to issue 3. I don't know how long, if it's just a 5-issue run or if this is just the first 5-issue arc in the series. I'm really curious to see how far it goes.
Yeah. It's, I guess they're probably going to see how it does and then take it from there. This would be cool if it was like a summer series that came back every year.
Yeah, it is a fun, like I said, it's a very fun summer themed series. That's why we're like, oh, this is perfect to cover with our summer shows. So
yeah,
we still have 3 more issues. I think it's going. So it's
probably going to go into December if I think.
It's going to go into. We have September, October, November, maybe December, depending on. Sometimes they spread them out a little.
Yeah.
But can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens next.
All right, and I guess we were going to transition over to our review of Ultraman Blazar episodes 3 and 4. Yeah, these were 2 really good episodes, and I feel like it's really kind of setting the tone for the show now. I feel like the first 2 episodes, we weren't quite sure, like, what's the comedy like? Is it going to be more serious? There's definitely a good mix of comedy in this show now. I think that's definitely, like, the first episode was very serious, but then now I'm like, okay, they're going back and forth.
Episode with the fishing scene was fun.
Yeah.
Episode 3 starts right off the bat, just starts with some kaiju action. We got Teganular draining a power plant of its energy, and it's the energy that this Teganular is hunting down the whole episode, causing havoc. It's called Titarium, a special alternate energy. Uh, Basically, this kaiju is going around the planet, going around Japan, destroying power plants and just absorbing all this energy. And then we get a little training sequence with Earth Garon,
Yeah.
which is the mecha that where we left off last episode, where their first assignment is to defeat a kaiju before Blazar with Earth Garon. Um, and we get a little flashback of Gento has a flashback to the building evacuation where he saw the black hole, and it could possibly be when he first encountered Blazar inside. But we haven't really. I'm up to episode 6 now. We haven't really seen more of those flashbacks just yet. But yeah, really cool.
There was a lot of like kind of like montage-y scenes in this episode of them training in Earth Garon, and it was kind of funny though because they're like referencing like the manual and like what they have to do, and like, oh, if you turn to page like 1506 and go to section C, like,
yeah,
like a lot of like really funny like gags, like about like them just training in the mech.
Yeah, and it's like a pretty straightforward episode. It's just like them training, Teganular attacking some power plants, and then he finally attacks like the final power plant, and he begins heating up to like this crazy temperature, and like shoots out a burst into the atmosphere, and Earth Garon arrives, and he begins fighting Teganular, and he kind of fails. So Gento goes outside to override the controls, but then he transforms into Blazar and fights Teganular, and
yeah, he gets really hot, so he's like he keeps on like touching him. He's like
yeah, he's burning his hands, and then this episode kind of like didn't end in a cliffhanger. Like he kind of just like defeated Teganular, and like I said, the first 2 episodes they each led into the next episode. This was the first one where there wasn't any cliffhanger, and it kind of just was like boom, self-contained, and pretty cool episode, pretty fun.
Yeah, it was considered a success for Earth Garon, even though he didn't defeat a kaiju before Ultraman did. And then the one thing is that there was like a bit of like a power struggle. Like they weren't quite respecting Scarred yet as like an actual government, and they had to like assert like, no, we're taking care of this kaiju.
Yeah, when they arrived, that's true. Yeah, when they arrived, like, who are you and why are you here to fight this? So we're taking. The military is like, who the hell is Scarred? Like, whatever.
I really like the ongoing bits with Emmy where she's like undercover. Like the last episode, like the fisherman was like, hey, do you want to join my crew? And then this time she's like standing next to like the nuclear physicist, and he's like giving her all this information about like the energy and the power plant. And then he's like, who are you?
Yeah, she's a good undercover operative.
Yeah, so
she's definitely. I think she's definitely the funny character for the series for sure.
Yeah, but like all the rest of the crew kind of has like their own little like.
Everyone has their quirks. I mean, every Ultraman series has that where the crew's all a bit quirky altogether. They got to keep it light most of the time.
But I guess that this kind of transitions really well into episode 4 because this is kind of like an Emmy episode. Yes. She's undercover for this company. It opens up with her. She's talking with like the CEO, and then out of nowhere, this like honestly kind of disgusting kaiju pops up.
Yeah,
looks like some type of like they just discovered that like Arctic strawberry thing. It kind of looks like that, like kind of disgusting grub thing.
Yeah, it's just like an amalgamation or
it's supposed to be like some type of shrimp or something that's like turned into a kaiju, but it's disgusting. And he just sends out these drones. It puts this green spray around, and the kaiju just turns into water and dissolves.
And it like sinks into the ground. The kaiju's called Laviria.
Yeah.
Lavira. And it's apparently, when this episode starts, it's been attacking Japan for a while now. And every time this company releases these drones to spray it, and it's believed that the company may have accidentally created Lavira because they're the only ones that have the solution to make it retreat, or they defeat it, but they don't really.
But they have to use more and more every time.
Yes, each time they need to defeat it with more chemicals.
So they just keep lining their pockets. I mean, this is just a story as old as time.
Yeah. So the company's like, oh, we'll take care of it. You just got to keep paying us for more chemicals. So that's why Emmy's kind of undercover in the company and kind of figure out what's going on. Laviria appears again, and Earth Garen shows up, defeats it, but it takes 2 rounds of the special FK-1 missiles, which is the chemical that was sold to Scar.
And after the first missile, they knew that they had to use more. Then, like, every single time they knew they had to use more. So they were like, oh, 1 missile should be good. Like, this is, it's way overdose. They shoot the first one, it doesn't do it. And they have to use a second one. They're like, what the... Like, they're taken aback. Like, they almost get into, like, a fight. And just about as soon as he's about to strike, he melts back into water again.
Yeah.
That's, like, kind of, like, when this whole, like, subplot of, like, yeah, we know, like, this guy's behind.
Yeah, because we find out that the company also makes sea angels.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
And that's when the DNA gets figured out. They're like, oh, it's the same DNA as Laviria.
Yeah.
So...
and you can continue.
Yeah, so Emmy returns back to the company at night. She's kind of snooping to try to find what's going on, to find proof. So she finds a little secret room behind a picture frame. And we learn that she kind of knew that the company was onto her. So she purposely gets caught getting the proof and has a CEO pretty much confess everything to her, the whole plan and everything, that he's plans on releasing the Laviria all over the world, that he's actually engineered them on purpose so that he could profit off of it. And he says it's not even for the profit.
Yeah,
he just wants to be praised as a hero.
Yeah, there's like a scene earlier in the episode.
Like, I'm getting filthy rich, but I'm also want to just be praised as the hero too.
There's a scene earlier in the episode where he keeps like telling her he needs meditation time. So we actually follow him to like one of his meditation times, and he just puts earbuds in, and it's just people telling him how great he is. Yeah. He just listens to people telling him how amazing he is. So he's like, I just want the adulation for, people telling me I'm doing a great job, and I want everybody to love me.
Yeah.
So it turns out he used to work for like the Japanese like Department of Defense, and they found this back in 2001, this Laviria creature, but they were in the middle of transitioning from analog to digital records. So he took the records, they never got digitized, and took Laviria with him, so nobody knew what happened. So he's been like developing this plan for a long time. One of the things that I thought was really cool and kind of very subtly mentioned in this episode was like, this was going on for months.
Yeah.
So like there's been quite a time jump in the series already.
Yeah, so they kind of let the team develop a little more and have their skills grow.
Yeah, so we're already 4 episodes in, and we already had like a pretty big time, like a pretty decent couple month time jump going on. But yeah, so Laviria comes back, it's nighttime, they're having the human struggle with the people down in the basement of this corporation, but then Laviria gets out. Gento transforms into Ultraman, Earth Garon is deployed, and Ultraman is having a bit of a issue fighting Laviria, which is pretty interesting, because it's honestly like, this is the first fight that Laviria's been in, because every single time they've never been able to actually engage because FK1 works.
Yeah.
And then right for the Earth Garon fight, it was right before they were about to fight, he melted again. So they're fighting. He's having a rough go at it. Earth Garon's deployed, and he like chucks like a nitrogen tank.
Yeah. I mean, he's like, yo, take that nitrogen tank down here, throw it at Laveria. So that's what they do. It bursts, Laveria freezes, and then Blazar hits it with the Blazar spear and KOs Laveria, seemingly.
And this just gave me like really like Godzilla against Mechagodzilla vibes, because like, you know, they have like the absolute zero ray.
Yeah.
And now he's freezing, Laveria and busting it up into pieces. And I was like, no, Earth Garon kind of, sort of looks like Mechagodzilla. Not really, but
yeah,
it's Godzilla-esque.
It's a Mecha Dino.
Yeah, it's a Mecha Dino. So I was like, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool little episode there. Looking forward to the next two. We're probably going to cover that on the next show.
Yeah, I watched episode 5. That was another fun episode, and I'm behind. I think I have to watch 6 and 7 now. Are they up to 7 already?
I think 6 got... No, 7's out, yeah.
Yeah. So I got 2 more episodes I got to watch. We'll probably cover 5 and 6 next episode. Maybe 7. I don't know. 3's a lot to cover.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah. And, but yeah, that's about it. Looking forward to the series. So far, so good. And we're going to be transitioning over to our main event, and that is going to be Gamera versus Zigra. This is the first Gamera review that we're doing here, but I guess kind of the last Gamera movie for the Showa era. There was one more after it, but it reuses a lot of footage.
Yeah. So. And you know, the crazy thing about this movie, Gamera Zigra, is it came out in 1971 in Japan, but we didn't get it here in the States until 1987.
Yeah, so I actually watched the Arrow DVD of this, and one thing to note for this review is that we are reviewing the English dub for this movie. Right? You watched the English version?
Yes.
I also watched the English version just out of ease. In the special features, the guy mentions that, like the company that was licensing the Gamera movies wasn't particularly impressed with this movie. So they didn't license it, and another company picked it up 17 years later or whatever, and they did the dub for it. He says that the dub is absolutely nonsensical. So just note, we are reviewing the English dub of this movie, which is amazing, honestly.
In a comedic gold way.
The
thing about this English dub too is it was one of the earliest movies to be covered by MST3K, Mystery Science Theater 3000. This is one of the first movies that they did an episode on.
Yeah.
So that just gives you an idea.
Yeah.
I was just kind of cracking up throughout this movie.
Yeah. So we might in the future review a Japanese version of this movie to give it a little bit of redemption. But even in the special features, the guy said it wasn't the greatest Gamera movie in the world.
Yeah. And then Dai shortly after went bankrupt, and kind of that brought an end to the Gamera movies. Then they eventually came back in 1980 with Gamera the Super Monster. The writer for the films was not too happy with the way they were taking the Gamera the Super Monster movie. So he decided to just kill Gamera off at the end of that movie and just end the Gamera series there.
So a lot of none of the props for Gamera, the original run, exist. They all got destroyed during a riot at Dai Studios when they were going belly up. The employees kind of were like, they were sick of it.
Yeah.
And they just kind of destroyed everything. It sounded like a really bad break.
I mean, it's kind of like, we reviewed on the channel before the Nazora movie. I mean, you just see the mess of that production, and then you look at what happened after this, it gives you kind of an idea of how the company was going at the time.
Yeah.
The
Not for nothing. It's kind of funny, but we're gonna get into the plot point of this movie soon. When I started watching it, I was watching this on my Plex server, so I accidentally swapped the files of Gamera versus Jiger and Gamera versus Zigra. So
is it both on the
yeah. So I started watching Jiger first because it was underneath the Zigra name. I mislabeled them. I watched 30 minutes of that movie before I realized that I was watching the wrong movie, because they both involve young children and a submarine and an aquatic-ish type of monster.
Oh, that's probably the one that I've seen the least. I remember this movie from growing up. I don't remember that one, and I honestly don't know if I've ever seen it.
So you don't see... So for the first 30 minutes, you don't see Jiger.
Yeah.
Right? And there's no burnt-in subtitles. At least I didn't have them up when I was watching at the time. So when the title card came up, it was in Japanese, so I don't know. Right? So I'm watching this movie, and then 30 minutes in, I'm like, yep, this is the plot. Like, this sounds exactly like the plot that I remember. Like, things are a little different, but like, yeah, this is kind of what I remember. I haven't seen this movie in like forever, right? And I'm just like, the second I saw the kaiju, I'm like, I'm watching the wrong movie. So then I start watching Zigra, and I'm like, yeah, this is the same. I'm like, this is the same 30 minutes of the movie, pretty much. Like, there's water themes, there's submarines. I'm like, yeah, this is... Well, there's no submarine in this. There's a bathoscope.
Which we'll get into.
But, like, kind of similar. And apparently, Gamera versus Jiger did do so well, and that's why they were able to make Zigra. But, like, Dai was just bleeding money.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like
this movie that failed them. It was just they were just hurting as a company overall.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get into it. This is an amazing movie on so many levels. Yeah. So it starts off with Zigra, this little like ship thing, which is a really cool looking prop. It's like got like balloons, kind of like a.
I saw somebody describe the ship today as a shark with Dippin' Dots on its back.
That's a really good description. A shark with Dippin' Dots.
Yeah, it's a really cool ship, but yeah, it's got spikes, fins. Zigra is basically modeled after a goblin shark, which I've seen before. It's a really weird looking shark with like a beak. So the ship is basically shaped like Zigra. It opens up with a moon base. The Zigra ship attacks the moon base, destroys it, and abducts a lunar rover. And then it cuts to Earth after giving the title screen saying Gamera vs. Zigra. And we're at a SeaWorld, and they have a dead dolphin that kind of just turned black. And they're kind of doing
the dolphin looks so like it's just completely just black, like it got like the plague or something like that. But like, I don't know, like it's SeaWorld. Like, don't dolphins die all the time there?
Oh jeez. But it doesn't even look like a dolphin too. It's just like this. It's like small too.
The funny thing is, like, during the special features, like the guy who they have like doing like the reading, he goes, he's like, this movie takes place in SeaWorld, the place that's really known for taking good care of dolphins and killer whales. Like, he says it's so tongue in cheek.
Oh my god.
I was just like, ooh, the most shade in the world.
Yeah. So basically, what they're saying is the oceans are so polluted now that fishermen have been struggling, sea life has been dying, and there's been just like a slew of deep sea earthquakes going on across the globe in Peru, India, and they don't show any of the earthquakes, but they're like catastrophic. There was a 10,000 were killed in India, 100,000 were injured. Like that's a high body count. Uh, so it kind of cuts. There's these two guys. They're kind of like taking samples. They work at the aquarium. They both have kids. They're trying to just kind of do some ocean research, try to save the ocean a little. The two kids kind of just tag along and sneak on their boat, eat their lunch,
Yeah.
and they witness the Zigra ship landing in the ocean near where there's some dolphins swimming, and they decide, you know what, we got to make sure those dolphins are okay. So let's take the boat out to where the spaceship landed. So sure enough, they take the boat out there. As they're rowing their boat out towards the spaceship, they see Gamera in the sky. And like, oh, Gamera's gonna protect us. And then the Zigra beam just shoots out from Zigra's ship and abducts the kids and their fathers.
Yeah, and Gamera's just like, all right, whatever.
Peace.
Like, literally just nothing.
Like, yeah.
I don't know why Gamera was there.
Yeah, he was just doing a flyby high or whatever, just to show the camera exists. And they get on the ship and they're met by a woman who claims to be a Zigrin, and she tells them that they've been the ones causing these catastrophic earthquakes and that she's going to cause a magnitude 18 earthquake to Tokyo. And the fathers are like, what are you, crazy? And she just like snaps her fingers, flashes her eyes, and then they like pass out. And she comically chases the kids around this little rowboat in a circle in this spaceship with Zigra's head overlooking them. And
then like they touch like in like I don't even know, like this like spinning orb thing.
Yeah.
And she like freezes.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's linked to, we'll get to later on in the movie with her hypnosis, but I think it could be linked to that control, which was another funny plot point of the movie with the
Again, this is of the English dub. There are some nonsensical things that probably didn't get translated well at all. But again, the production on this movie wasn't great to begin with. So like they get in this boat and then they're like, I don't know, like
they just push random buttons.
They just push random buttons and then like they're like trying to row it. I'm like, I'm like watching this and I'm like, what's gonna happen with this boat? Are they gonna like row it through the air or something? And then they kind of just get transported to like the surface, which makes more sense. But I'm like, why are they like in the boat? What's going on? And like the funny thing is like the hypnotized people, they can just, the second they touch them, they can at least lead them and walk them, and they can just do exactly what they want them to do.
Yeah, they walk and everything. Yeah. So they just go, they push a button, and they escape the ship because the Zegrin lady's frozen. And they get back to shore. The military, for some reason, has set up operations in SeaWorld.
Yes. Yeah, there's like this whole like plot point of like they're trying to buy like one fish. And the guy's like arguing with like the hotel guy, and the hotel guy is arguing with the SeaWorld guy. But then it turns out that they both work for SeaWorld.
Yeah, the SeaWorld guy wanted to get the fish to feed the dolphins. Yes.
And the hotel guy worked for the SeaWorld hotel and wanted to feed the military.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like he's like, I was like, okay, well, you show me why you need this fish. So then he goes there. He goes, look, I have the military here. And he's out of the car, and the guy's just like, peace out.
And then he drives away with
the fish.
Yeah.
The one fish.
But like the thing is now at this point, the Zigra lady made the announcement to the world that they're going to cause a magnitude 18 earthquake to Tokyo. So everybody's evacuating, and this guy's like, I need to feed my hotel guests. And the guy's like, everybody's evacuating. Who are you feeding? And the guy's like, I'm going to go feed the dolphins. there should be nobody in your hotel. So they all evacuate. The earthquake does occur, apparently.
Apparently,
We don't see it. We
everything's fine.
Yeah, but there's this catastrophic body count. Tokyo's apparently destroyed. No pictures of Tokyo destroyed. Nothing. We just gotta
Yeah.
imagine it. We see everything's fine though. Everything looks fine. There's still people walking around throughout the movie. Then our Zigra lady comes ashore to go look for these kids, and she encounters some swimmers. They didn't evacuate.
Yeah, they
They
didn't
didn't
evacuate.
evacuate, but
Those swimmers are from Florida. They were riding out that storm.
you can't tell them what to do. So, so, so
They're gonna go to Publix and get a hurricane cake. But anyway, she hypnotizes these swimmers, and they're wearing like the
Bikinis.
smallest bikinis in the world. So then, like, she's like, "Oh, Earth clothes." So then she's like, just walking around Tokyo
and then she,
in a bikini.
yeah, and the guy that went to go get the fish for the dolphins on his way back sees her hitchhiking, and he just picks her up and takes her back with him to SeaWorld.
So apparently, this actress, I mean, we know Japan is a very, very censored country, so like they weren't that bad. But apparently, she was like the star of like Daiei's adult mystery movies.
Oh.
And they said like basically she was just in the movie for whatever poor fellow had to bring his kids to the movie theater to watch this movie with his kids. At least there was something for him to watch. But like apparently her hypnosis only works if somebody looks her in the eye.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is she hypnotizes like everybody in this movie, right? Except for the one guy, the fish guy from SeaWorld was like ogling her the whole time, and he was like the only guy to not get hypnotized in this movie.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, she makes it to SeaWorld. She hypnotizes like a maid. She gets her outfit. She makes her way to go to the kids. Because she needs the kids for...
She wants to kill the kids.
Yeah, she wants to kill the kids for some reason.
For some reason, she's got to kill these kids because they know the plan. But the whole world knows the plan. They announced the plan to the world.
And even though literally Zigra, like 20 minutes later, will like telepathically tell the entire world exactly what he wants to do.
He's like, I want your oceans. You don't deserve to live here.
And you guys are going to be my cattle.
Yeah. I'm going to feed on you.
Like, this was not like a mystery. I don't know, but so she goes, kids notice her immediately. They run away. They know not to look her in the eye.
Yeah, we get like a whole Scooby-Doo chase scene. They're going like in and out different doors.
So apparently, this was another cost-cutting measure. There was supposed to be another kaiju fight scene, and they got cut, so he just had to like fill it with scenes of like more scenes of the lady chasing them around SeaWorld, because that's literally all he was given access to.
So yeah, they're chasing around SeaWorld. The military's there, media's there, and they see her running after them, and the media's like, "Oh, isn't that whoever?" And we find out that she was a geologist that got sent to the moon. And she's who Zigra took at the beginning of the movie. I don't know why he was just on his way to Earth. I'm like, oh, here's a human that I can use to be my voice
Yes.
and body.
So then the two adult fathers that were hypnotized earlier in the movie are suddenly unhypnotized, and then they know how to unhypnotize her. I don't know.
Yeah.
So they unhypnotize her, and she kind of tells them like the plot thing. And then they're like, okay, well, we're gonna get Gamera involved.
So yeah, Gamera basically gets involved himself after the earthquakes happen, and we forgot to mention that Gamera is the one that ended up scooping up the kids' boat out of the water and bringing him back to shore because the kids didn't row their two dads that are zombies back to shore. So Gamera scoops him up, brings him back to shore, and they encounter a hobo when they get back to shore.
Yeah.
But fast forward, Gamera attacks the zebra ship. No, did Gamera? Yeah. Yeah.
He did, and
Yeah,
that's
he attacks
when
the Zigra's ship.
that's when the ship kind of
destroys it, and then it becomes Zigra.
and like Zigra grows really quick, and then
It
that's
kind of
when the
explains
first
like how we saw Zigra like we
in
see,
the ship,
you
but
see
he's
Zigra
bigger
in
than the ship.
like it's just like a head hanging over, like kind of looking over everything, but it's like looks like it's like covered in like spider webs.
Yeah, so the director's budget was frequently cut and was basically like, this is what you have to work with.
Yeah.
So, like, one of the things that he complained about was that it was very difficult to maintain scale in this movie. Just because they were doing what they could with it. So, like this, like, but like the underwater fight was actually really good. Like the Gamera fire breath on the ship to break it looked really good, and then Zigra flying around and I guess swimming under the water and having the fight with Gamera looked really, really nice.
Yeah, and Zigra, it gets bigger because the Earth's gravity is different, so its body expanded under the water.
So then Gamera brings Zigra up to the SeaWorld. They're on the SeaWorld set. They have a little tough little fight thing. And then Gamera gets laser beamed into being like upside down.
Yeah, it's really funny. Like he just flops into the ocean and there's just like a foot sticking out of the ocean.
It's literally just like,
and Gamera's just in the ocean at the shore of SeaWorld, hanging upside down with just his foot sticking out of the water for like
the rest of the movie.
Very large portion of the movie. Like, yeah.
Basically until the last scene of the movie, he's just upside down.
Yeah.
So this is when we get the amazing bath soap.
We also they snap the dads out of the hypnosis because after they see several people with it, they realize that it's some sort of radio wave connection. And
until it's like, not a radio wave connection.
Yeah, so they do this weird. They like just get like they get like a microphone transmitter to like transmit a sound over a thing, and they're basically going into this microphone, and that's what. And then the dads are just like every time they do that, and then they snap out of it, and they eventually snap the Zigran lady, the geologist, out of trying to kill the kids by doing the same exact thing. So then they're like, oh, maybe we could do this on a larger scale with everyone. Maybe we could snap Gamera out of it.
They can't.
But they can't. So they go underwater for some reason in this bathoscope, which is basically like, it's not a submarine.
It looks like the Mars, like a little pod that they land on Mars with.
Yeah, it's just sort of like a drum that they drop in the ocean.
It looks like that, but for water.
Yeah.
And there's like a rope attached to it, and I guess they were supposed to bring it up.
They drop it down, and the rope gets cut by Zigra.
And they seemingly have zero plan for that.
Yeah.
If that was to happen.
They're stuck because they went down to such a deep level that nobody's ever gone before, that they don't know how to get him out of there, and Zigra attacks it a couple times, so it is leaking and they're losing air, so they only have like 50 minutes left, and the military is like, oh man, this operation's not doing good, we really got to figure out a way to get them out of there. It's the kids had snuck onto the sub with the dads again, the bathoscope.
There's kids on there and all this stuff. Like, what are we gonna do? Sounds like a problem for morning military. So everybody decides that they're gonna go take a nap.
Yes, you got the wives are there, the older sister is there. We
are kind of burying the lead a little bit here. We're kind of making it sound worse than it actually is. everything was going to be fine. They like had their fingers crossed behind their back and told Zigra that they're going to surrender and they're going to be fine. And Zigra was going to bring them back up to the shore and save them. And then the former Zigran lady, who ended up just being a astronaut, says, if you turn the lights on really bright, it's going to hurt Zigra. So then, as far as they know, Zigra blew up the bathoscope because they hit him with the ray and the video signal got cut out.
Yeah, and they're like, but they could still be down there alive, and the mothers, the daughters are just like crying. And then
how much oxygen do they have? About 50 minutes.
And then it just kind of skips ahead, and everybody in this military base is just napping, passed out.
Yeah.
And I get because Zigra has been doing all this damage. It's a lot warmer now. The atmosphere is changing. Zigra's sort of terraforming in a way. But
kind of.
There was like not a lot of urgency. They're like, the nearest bathoscope is in India. And I don't think it could be here in 50 minutes. And you were like, yeah, this is in the 70s. Nothing moved that quick in the 70s.
Yeah, it got stuck in the Suez Canal.
Yeah.
But
they decided, instead of trying to even come up with a plan, that let's just nap it out. And they wake up and they're like, oh, they should be dead now.
Yeah. And they were like, in the middle of this nap, Gamera gets struck by lightning and is now awake.
Yes.
But we like he's just awake, and then like they wake up and they're like, oh, how long has it been? They're like, oh, it's been 8 hours. And then the mother just goes, they suffocated to death. like she didn't know what time was.
And the thing is, it's your husband and your children.
Yeah.
And you're napping. Like, we're really supposed to believe that this mother just decided to nap it out?
You just wanted a quick 15 power nap. It ended up being 8 hours.
Yeah, it's just... I was cracking up when that scene unfolded. Like
this has to be a dub thing, right?
I have not seen this movie in years. I mean, we had it on VHS growing up. I don't remember if I watched it when the DVDs were coming out, but I was dying.
This has to be a dubism, right? Like, this can't be the actual plot. Like, the actual plot points that they're making, right?
I don't know.
It can't be this bad. I better not be this bad. We're gonna do a Redemption review, maybe not this year, but next year or sometime. We're gonna get back to this movie and we're gonna watch the Japanese version. If it's this bad, my lord. But anyway, okay. Cuts to Gamera. He's underwater. Zigra is sleeping right in front of the bathoscope, right? Because he fell asleep too.
And Gamera's a bit of a goof in this scene too.
Gamera's here. He's like, oh, here's the bathoscope. This is what I want. It's just right in front of me, just right here. I can grab it. Zigra's all the way over there. I'm gonna throw that at Zigra.
He just throws. Yeah, you see like the motions, like he's literally trying to sneak up on this thing, and he just throws a rock at him.
Literally throws a boulder in his head.
Let's make sure he's really asleep.
He wakes up and he's like, what's going on? And then just goes back to sleep. And then Gamera's like, okay, I'm gonna take this bathoscope and I'm gonna get on out of here.
Yeah.
So he flies back up to the surface, puts the bathoscope down. The scientists rush out there. Look, everybody's in there. They look to be preserved, but their cells aren't moving. Should we take them to a hospital? No. We're gonna bring them right here on the beach. We're gonna do this right here, right now. And then somehow they're like, oh, well, their cells are stuck. And Gamera must have gotten struck by lightning at night. We don't know that because we were sleeping, but that's what must have happened, right?
So from them getting hit with Zigra's ray is what kept them alive instead of them
Yes.
suffocating.
So
Because
yeah,
they were like basically frozen in time. That they weren't using oxygen and they didn't need the oxygen.
yes, but their cells weren't moving. So like at first the doctors were like, oh, they're dead, but they didn't suffocate. And then the space lady was like, their cells are just frozen by Zigra. How do we undo this? And then they're like, Gamera must have gotten, it was lightning last night, so Gamera must have got struck during the storm, and that's what woke him up. So if we electrify them, it should bring them back to life. That is a giant leap in logic. I don't know, but I guess yeah, you just use a defibrillator on them. They didn't use a defibrillator, but yeah, like just clear, boom, and I guess they're back to life. But
Yeah.
you know, this is children's sci-fi movie, but like
Yeah.
but like giant leap in logic there. At that point, Gamera goes back underwater. We have honestly another really good underwater fight scene. Gamera's getting like slashed up.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how they did this. Like
There's cuts on the stomach and then it starts
yeah,
bleeding.
because from what I heard about the production, basically what they did was like Gamera and Zigra were like on like the soundstage set, right? In front of the camera was a water tank, and they basically filmed the scene through a water tank to like get that like effect, like the lighting and everything like that. But like when Gamera was getting cut, like it looked like it was like what would happen if you were bleeding underwater, where like the green stuff, like Gamera's blood was like floating up and like seeping out of him. Like it wasn't like he was just bleeding and then gravity was happening. Like it was floating. So it was honestly like a really good scene. It was multiple cuts. The flying with Zigra was really good. He uses like a little like fin to like slash Gamera. Honestly, a really good fight scene. Probably the highlight of the movie, and with the limited budget that they had, quite impressive. Then they take it onto shore, and it's Gamera basically just raffle stomping Zigra on shore. They do have a Zigra suit, though, that they briefly use in the underwater scene. Very, very briefly, but then also back when they're back on land, they go over to a suit. So now Zigra's like bipedal, standing up. And they're like giant compared to the SeaWorld mini set that they have.
Yeah.
SeaWorld paid for it. They did the scale, and they wouldn't let them destroy anything.
Yeah,
SeaWorld had to be untouched.
Yeah.
So they were very closed in on the space that they had to use to
they were
actually
just like
film
on
this.
a beach between like a rock and SeaWorld.
Yeah, and they couldn't destroy anything. So they literally just had that little space to fight with. So they did what they could. It was just, but like they made it happen.
The the surface level fight scenes were actually better than the underwater fight scenes. I mean, the underwater fight scenes were actually better than the surface fight scenes, which normally you would think it would be the other way around.
Yeah. Gamera slams him, throws a rock on top of him, like a giant boulder
stuck
now.
on his beak, and then weighs Zigra down.
Yeah.
And then Gamera plays Zigra like a xylophone.
Yes. Well, no. This is the burn. He plays the Gamera theme song on him like a xylophone, and then lights him on fire.
And then that's the end of Zigra.
That's the end of Zigra and the end of the movie.
Roll the credits.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like they worked with what they had. It's kind of reminds me of like Space Amiibo, where it's like
there were budget cuts. Yeah.
There was budget cuts, and they just kind of did what they could with what they had.
Yeah.
Obviously some glaring issues with the movie. Even with the plot point issues, even if those were dub mistakes, just visually, like there was some issues with this movie. Like I don't even know how you could mess up the plot that much on a dub. So I'm assuming the Japanese was almost equally as baffling, maybe not as bad on the plot. Apparently the budget on this was frequently just slashed and slashed and slashed. The director went from a staffed director to just being a freelancer. Apparently, like, employees were like frequently worried about whether or not they were going to have a job. And like the one scene that was filmed in Tokyo was basically just like that little street scene where she was in the bikini, and it was just like by the train station that they used to commute to work.
So like, just walk around here in a bikini for like a couple of minutes and then call it out.
That was basically like what they had. Apparently, the set pieces that we saw were all that they had, and everything else needed to be filmed in SeaWorld because that's basically like he had no more budget, and SeaWorld was willing to let them film there. So he filmed most of the movie at SeaWorld because that's what he had access to.
Crazy.
Yeah. That being said, though, like the shots at SeaWorld, like I understand it's supposed to be like a big like product advertisement. They weren't really that impressive.
Yeah.
Like I didn't watch this movie going like, oh, I kind of want to go to SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just it's a very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy when you look at the Showa series versus the seriousness of the Heisei series. I mean, clearly the Showa series was absolutely meant for children. It always featured kids. I think the Showa series is so dark and just still considered probably the best kaiju trilogy to this day.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen next. I mean, we do have a Gamera anime series coming out.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah,
next week, which is mind blowing. It just came on us so quick that. Yeah, that's just something else I'm gonna have to squeeze into my binge watching schedule. Netflix did a great job with Singular Point. The Skull Island series was great, and this Gamera series looks really good, and it also looks pretty dark, looks pretty gory. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited for it. I think it's going to be good. If this goes well, hopefully that brings more Gamera in the future.
From what I heard is that if this season does very well on Netflix, that they will do I believe either a second season or a movie that will serve as a sequel to this first season.
That'd be really good.
And Zigra is going to be in the series. We're going to have Jiger, Gauss, Giron, and Virus. Is that all of them? Is that the 5?
I think.
Am I missing anyone?
I think that's all of them.
Yeah. And interesting thing that those 5 monsters are the only other 5 monsters to get Trendmasters figures back in the day besides Gamera. So it's the Trendmasters monsters. And, one of the things for this, when I saw Virus was gold, I'm like, oh, he's usually silver. But then he's kind of changing color. Is if you go now, it should still be there because they want a lot of money for it. But if you go on eBay and search Gamera Trendmasters, they have a prototype Virus figure that's unpainted. And the prototype figure was gold. So that, I think, explains why Virus looks gold in the trailer, which I think is pretty cool. I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but yeah. Check that out. We're really looking forward to the Gamera anime series. And thanks for sticking with us 19 episodes in. Like I said, we had a really busy summer, so we didn't put out as much as we wanted, but we've still been putting out tons of little short videos. We didn't get to do as many shows as we wanted, but this will be the final summer video for this year. Who knows? We'll probably come back with it next year to do more summer videos. We'll see what we have.
Yeah. All right. So see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and bye.